Hello and welcome to this lecture. And in this lecture, let's go ahead and automate the process where when the user actually fills up this particular form right here, the profile or the user field should be automatically updated with the logged in user. So right now we have these three fields or four fields which we need to fill up, and one more field which is actually going to be present over here is going to be the username, and we actually want to get the username of the user who's currently logged in. So let's go ahead and learn how we can implement that. So the very first thing which we need to do now is that we need to convert the current function based view for adding item into a class based view. So right now we have this particular view right here which is called as the create item view, and this is actually a function based view, and let's now go ahead and turn it into a class based view and see what happens. So what I will do here is that I'll simply go ahead and create a class based view over here. So let me just add a comment in here, and let's say this is a class based view for create item. Okay, now once we have this thing, the first thing which we need to do now is that we need to go ahead and import the create view, as we want to create a class based view. So let's go right here and just type in from django.views.generic.edit, that's going to be import, that's going to be create view. So once we have this particular class, now we can go ahead and inherit from this class in the class based view. So let's go back over here, and now let's start creating the class based view over here. So I'll go ahead and type in class, and let's say the name of this view is going to be create item, and now let's go ahead and type in create view in here so as to inherit from the create view class which we have just imported. Now in case of this create view, which is the class based view, what we need to do is that we need to convert this function based view into a class based view. So now we need to write a class based view for this existing function based view which we have here. So here what we need to do is that we need to actually go ahead and specify the model here. So I'll type in the model is going to be item, because we actually want to query the item, and then we need to go ahead and also specify the fields which we want to use. So for the item field, we actually want to use the fields which are nothing but the item name, the item description, and everything like that. So I'll mention fields over here, and those are going to be nothing but the item name, then we are going to have the item description, the item price, and finally we will have the item image. So I'll type in item underscore image over here, and do note that these fields are nothing but the fields which we actually have in our models.py file, which is these items right here. But as you can see, we have not included this username field over here because we don't want that field to be present in our form. So here we only specify those fields which we want them to be present in our form, and the username field actually has to be updated automatically, and that's the reason why we are not including it over here. So once we are done with this, let's now go ahead and create a function in here to actually accept a form. So let's name that function as, let's say, form valid. So I'll type in def form underscore valid, and this is actually going to accept two parameters. One is the self and then the form itself. And now what we will do here is that once we have the form inside this function, what we will do is that we will try to get the field from that particular form. So the form field we are trying to access here is the username. So in order to get the username field for the form, you type in form, which is nothing but this form right here, and now you need to get the instance of that form. So you type in dot instance, and now for the form instance you want the username. So I'll type in user underscore name over here, and now we actually want to equate this username with the name of the user who's currently logged in. So in order to get the name of the current user, what we do is that we use this self which we have passed in over here. So we'll type in self, and we get the username from the request. So we type in self.request. That's going to be user. And once we get this, what we do is that we return the super method which is the form underscore valid. So we type in return super, and then we type in dot form underscore valid, and in here we again pass the same thing, which is form. And then we also need to go ahead and mention the template for this particular form, which is nothing but the template which we have passed in here, which is food/item-form.html. So let me just copy that, and in here right inside the class we actually need to mention the template name. So the template name is going to be nothing but this thing right here, which we have copied just right now. Okay, so once this thing is done, hopefully our application should work just fine, and we should get the user associated with the post. Okay, so now once we are done with creating this view, now the only thing which we need to do is that we need to go ahead and change the URL pattern of our website. So let's go over here, and in here, instead of the create item view, now we need to change this thing to create item.asView. So that's going to be views.createItem.asView. And once we go ahead and do that, we are pretty much good to go. So now once we have added that, let's go ahead and make sure the server is up and running. So right now I'm logged in as admin. So let me just log out, and let me log in as a regular user. Let's say sample user, which is an already registered user on my site. And now let's go ahead and try to add an item, and let's say the item name is sample item. Let's say the description is sample description. Let's say the price is 55. And now when I go ahead and click save, as you can see, now the item has been added up over here. And now if we want to check what kind of user is associated with this sample item, we need to log in as an admin. So let me just log out and log in as an admin. So let me just type in my name here. And now if we go to items, and if we go to the sample item over here, as you can see, now the username is automatically updated over here as sample user, because the sample user was the one who had actually added up that item. Now in order to test if this thing actually works, what you can do is that you can again go back and you can just log out and register a new user. So I can just go ahead and register a new user. So let me just type in register, and let's say the new username is going to be brand new user. Let's say the email is new@gmail.com. Let's say the password is test456 test456, and now let's log in. So brand new user, password is again test456, and now let's go ahead and try to add an item. Let's say the item name is brand new item. Let's say the description is something, and let's say the price is $43. So when I go ahead and click save, the item is actually added up over here. And now let's go ahead, log out. Let's log in again as an admin, and now if we go to items, as you can see, we have brand new item, which is actually added up by the brand new user. So that means we have successfully completed the process of actually adding or actually associating a particular username with a particular post, so that we know what kind of post is actually posted by what kind of user. So now one more modification you can make to this particular code here is that you can go to the index.html over here, and you can actually have the name of the user listed up over here as well. So what you can do here is that you can go ahead and you can also display the name of the user who has posted this particular item. So now let's go ahead and try to do that. So I'll just go ahead and type in another field over here, let's say 86. And now I can just type something in over here like let's say the item dot user, and this should actually be user underscore name. And now when you go ahead and hit refresh, as you can see, now you have all those items along with the detailed description, and also we have the name of the user who have actually posted those items as well. So here we have brand new user, here we have sample user, and here for the rest of the items which did not have any user, we actually have the admin user. So that's it for this lecture, and I hope you guys were able to understand how to associate a user with a particular food item. So thank you very much for watching, and in the upcoming lecture we will go ahead and try to actually make our site a little bit more attractive by making a few design changes. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.